Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Ziboli Round Corner, where we are always excited to bring you all things ESD, and today is no different. My name is Leboham Mashego and I am the Business Solutions Manager here at Ziboli Growth Partners. And today we are discussing a very important topic. I think it's the golden thread to everything that we do, and we have just the right person to discuss it with. We have our project coordinator here, Ms. Morisi Lebenya. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm well, thanks. Thank you very much for having me here today, Leboham.
Tell us about yourself. So, what did you study? Why do you work here?
My name is Maurice Libenya. I have over 4 years of economic development experience. I have pursued a master's degree in administration and development. With my dissertation study, I focused on studying the participatory communication measures for rural communities. Just where implement the programs in rural communities, how is that carried out? And then I believe that just it informs my ability to be able to carry my task here at Zivoli Growth Partners as a project coordinator. And what project coordinators do at Zivoli, the most term that we usually use is that we are SME facing, meaning that we facilitate the support for SMEs. We facilitate anything that is logistically, and it's referred to the SMEs in terms of the interventions, the engagements, and that's all that we do to carry our tasks.
And I think you studied something interesting. What was your intention? So why did you want to study something that has to do with development?
So growing up in rural areas, you always find development programs coming into the community, and then you only find out that the community is not even aware that there was something that's going to happen, or there is a development that is going to be carried out for them. So what actually niche my interest is that it is very much important to involve the people in the community to understand what exactly is their needs, so that they don't feel as if the development is imposed into them, and then also they feel as if their interaction or their participation in that development is limited because they don't know what is it about, how long the program is going to be for in that community, and even when it leaves, they're not even sure that they're still going to come back to finish the other part of development, or that's the only scope that they were going to carry for their community.
Okay. So why ESD? Do you think it found you? Did you find it? Did you choose it?
I think ESD found me. It found me. So I did an undergraduate study in development studies. It has always been my passion, helping people and working closely with SMEs, seeing them impacting other people's life, changing their business as a whole, and seeing them grow. To me, that speaks to my passion, and it just speaks to how great it is to see your work actually living into something that is bigger than what you thought it would be.
Yeah. So today I think we're talking about SME engagements, SME communication. And I think communication is one of the things that we talk about, well, not even talk about, use, right? So it's like breathing, it's like bread, it's like brushing your teeth. It's one of those things that we live by and we live with, we complain about it, we want to improve it, all sorts of things. But in our context, in terms of the work that we do, what is our definition of SME communication or engagement?
Communication is as simple as carrying out or relaying a message to people, ensuring that they receive it and it's delivered and it's understood. Whereas with interaction, you have that opportunity to have people interacting to the information that is communicated to them. So now they are able to ask questions. They are able to actually participate in what is given to them, and then they become even more informed because now it's live, they're interacting. You even are able to study the interest of the people that you are communicating to.
So what, right? So why is it important to communicate regularly? Is there a risk if you don't communicate regularly, specifically during the life cycle of a program?
From our team, our experience as a team, we have realized that as soon as we don't communicate regularly or sufficiently with the SMEs, they pull off from the program. They lose interest from the program. And also that it just forces a risk of having SMEs coming and with their own expectations, not being aware what is the program about. So having those intervals of when you communicate to SMEs does not only keep them informed, it also it makes engagement grow. And then also even the SMEs are able to manage their expectations on what the program is about. They learn more about the program, and then they see where they can actually fit within that program.
I agree with you. I think we are very clear on the profile of SME that's of interest to us, the profile of SME that we would like to assist across all our programs. What is the importance of the clarity, the frequency, the intervals, specifically in terms of engagement? So does that affect the way in which SMEs engage in a program? The format of the communication, is it clear? Is it often? Does this side affect the engagement?
I think the first step that you need to do is to profile the people that you're trying to communicate to, the SMEs. Understand where are they from, what kind of communication tools do they have access to. We work a lot with SMEs from rural communities and peri-urban communities. So it is very much important to understand what exactly our communication models do they use within the community. You find that people from rural areas, they prefer having their communicated through radios, through newspapers, or face-to-face interactions. Whereas people from a peri-urban, you can easily just communicate with them through social media pages or any other internet platform, because they're a bit more, we'll say they are more technological savvy. So they have access to the resources to receive information in different manner than the other ones from the rural communities.
To our viewers at home, please remember to pop us your comments, questions in the chat box, and we are more than happy to respond to them at the end of the session. So give us some examples. So here at Ziboli, how do we do it? What are some of the ways in which we try to reach SMEs right from recruitment to the end of the program, which is the exit?
So what we have actually identified here at Zivoli as a team is that communication is as important from the very initial stage of project cycle recruitment. When you are still looking for potential participants of the program, it is very important that you engage them. So what we do, we have interactive sessions with the potential participants or the potential SMEs that we are trying to attract. We have we usually call it an FAQ session, whereby SMEs are given an opportunity to ask questions about the application form. Also, we try to workshop them on the criteria, who qualifies to be part of the program, how long is the process going to take before we get back to them and let them know if they have made it through the program or not. And then moving forward, after we have done the whole selection of the SMEs or the potential participants that we want to have in the program, we do an onboarding session. During this onboarding session, we take them through the program rollout. We take them through the program benefits, what the program is going to offer to them. We also take them through the ED agreement. This assists them in knowing how much commitment is required from them, and then how long the timeline of the program, how much time they should from their busy schedule, because SMEs are also busy, the businesses on the side. So how much is going to be needed from their side to complete this development program going forward?
The level of effort. So how much effort was required from you as an SME?
Correct. Yes.
Is there such a thing as too much? Right? Is there such a thing as like, okay, I mean, too many emails, too many invites, too much, and is it overwhelming?
Throughout with one of our programs, we have had a situation like that, where you find SMEs now are pulling off from the program because there's been a lot of communication. Too much communication overwhelms the SMEs, and they miss the most important parts of the development program, or the most important information you're trying to communicate to them. They'll miss it because there's just so much coming to their side.
Yes.
They do not know which one to focus on, and also they become so unclear on the next steps because so much has been communicated to them, and then information fatigue leads to them pulling out from the program. You see them now, they're no longer participating as they used to before. The engagement level have decreased. So it is important that you input timelines or intervals as to when you're going to be communicating with the SMEs, and even for them to know as to when to expect the information from the project implementation team. That even assists in their level of engagement.
Yes.
Because when you have communicated something and then they feel as if the timeline is too tight for them, they're able to get back to the project team and indicate, I'm not going to be able to meet this deadline, but I can be able to meet this. This also informs the whole project success, really.
I mean, maybe from that, what do you think are some of the important touch points? So I know there are some touch points in recruitment that you've spoken about, like the FAQ sessions and all of that. And then what else? What are some of the important? Okay, this is an important touch point. The check-in, like throughout the process.
So I have mentioned that during recruitment we have your interactive sessions with the SMEs, and then that's just the first interval of engaging them to just to know the project team, to meet everybody. Onboarding session, now they have an opportunity to even meet the client. They have an opportunity to engage with the client just to understand what is their mandate behind the program. And then when we move to the most important part of the whole development program, which is diagnostics and growth plans, we engage with the SMEs closely. We have these sessions with them. We together sit down and try to identify their pain points within the business. And then from there on, after we have put together a report, we then have a check-in session, which is a debrief session with them, and say, these are the growth plans that we have mapped up with you within this development program. Are you aligned before we move to the next steps? We found out that is very crucial. And then during the duration of the program, we also have those check-ins with the SME to find out how far are you with this intervention? How is this intervention impacting your business going forward? And then as soon as we get to the exit of when we offboard the beneficiaries, now we say they have met their KPIs. We have them in one room. Of course, we have collected data through the surveys throughout the program, but now we have testimonials from SMEs telling us how the program impacted their businesses. What suggestions do they have for the project implementation team to implement in the next cohort of the program going forward? So what we have actually realized, it is very much important to have them engaged throughout the project cycle.
Yes, yes, I agree. Is access ever a problem? So I can imagine that it's not all profiles of SMEs like can use all devices all of the time, and you get all of your information through them all of the time. What do you do in those instances? So I know you guys had a project where you had to do focus groups. So maybe those are some of the examples where you've deployed an alternative method in terms of trying to reach an SME. So what are those access issues, and what can we consider other than the usual way of doing things?
Okay. With one of our projects, we had a project that we needed to implement for people that are in rural communities. Meaning now these people, they do not have the same access to information as everybody else. Our usual go-to communication tools is social media. But then when we actually went to these communities to conduct these focus groups, from the community, the engagement that we got, it was so positive because they felt as if they were part of the program design. They felt so involved, even that when the applications were opened, the numbers of people that applied, it increased. They were aligned with the criteria of what the program is looking for. Even during the sessions, you will hear them telling you, yeah, we know of an SME actually meets this criteria. And they told us about holistically the challenges that they face as a community and how the program actually can fit into those challenges. So it was very important to actually do that, and which is one of the access challenges that SMEs face. With other cases, what we do is to have face-to-face interactions instead of just having your virtual sessions with the SMEs,
yes.
because SMEs in rural communities have limited access to the network connectivity. It's not as good as the ones in peri-urban.
Yeah.
So
yes, sorry.
no problem. So what we do is that we go to these rural communities. We try to implement more face-to-face interactions and less of virtual interactions. When we have virtual interactions coming through, we ensure that we follow up with calls, for example, and then that the SMEs that are so clear what are the next step, what is expected of them.
Yes. What are the requirements?
Yes, correct.
What are some of the things that could happen if you're unclear? If there's a lack of communication, if there's a lack of clarity, or the information didn't even reach the SMME, what are some of the risks or scenarios that could take place if you don't manage it properly?
In most cases, you will have your SMEs going to social media pages. You find them very disgruntled, saying that they didn't know about this program or the program didn't meet their expectations. And then in other cases, we have SMEs who are already on board in the program, losing interest. Now they're pulling back. The engagement isn't the same as before. So this is why what we do is that we ensure that we have intervals of communicating with the SMEs. What we do is that we open a platform for them. We, even when we onboard them, we tell them this is the project management team. Should you feel as if the program offering doesn't match with the goals of your business, you can go to these people to communicate. So I think the most important thing is to offer them a good platform to be able to, whenever they have concerns, they can raise them there, which is the project management team. And every time when we post out something, we also put in our contact details there, say they can reach out to us either through calls or emails, and then we can be able to follow up with them on that matters.
All right, thank you. To our viewers at home, once again, please forward us your questions, any comments, and then we'll be happy to respond. I think just the last few things. So, in terms of advice to ESD specialists, managers, how could you advise them to ensure that they know of the importance of SME communication and engagement throughout the life cycle of a program? I mean, even when you're planning it and all of that, how do they consider an SME in all of that?
I would say that transparent and consistent communication to SMEs is the key to the project success, because it will inform overall timelines on how the project is implemented. And as soon as you have engaged SMEs, even the impact of the program to them is even greater than you would have anticipated as the people that are implementing the program. So my advice would be that communicate with your SMEs, open a platform to them whenever they have concerns to be able to raise them freely. Also, in your intervals, ensure that you have flexibility. For example, because they are busy as well, they have their own contracts. If you have flexibility, they can't make for a certain session, you are able to shift things around to accommodate the majority of the people, so that the interventions, they don't leave others behind whilst everyone else is reaching the goal in the program.
And I'm sure you've had your fair share of SME issues when it comes to communication. Just a word of advice for them, because look, I know some are on a lot of ESD programs while they are busy because they do want to benefit of the value of an ESD program. But just to highlight the importance of responding and showing up and telling us that you look, I have a thing on the 9th, I can't make it. Can we look at something else? Just the importance of engaging and communicating.
It is very much important to have SMEs that are actually engaging, because I always say that the level of commitment that they put in the program also speaks on the impact that the program is going to have in their businesses. So I would definitely advise them that whenever you feel as if you have challenges with the timelines, then communicate to the project team so that they are there to best assist you in carrying out these interventions for your business. And whenever you're facing challenges with communications, if there's network issues, it is also advised that you just alert everybody, this is the challenge I'm facing. Yes, my interest is still there. So it's to engage. I'll say engage as much as you can. Engage.
Thank you so much, Marissa. I think enlightening conversation. So thank you so much. Any questions from our audience, from the crowd? Going once, going twice. Okay, go on. Thank you so much for joining us for the 7th episode of the Zero Round Corner. Of course, you'll see us again next month. And remember, Zivoli exists to create that wonderful relationship between corporates and SMEs so that supply diversity is business as usual. See you again next time. Thank you.